All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Peter Del Tondo, and I am your host for the rest of the week for the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenges. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about prototyping and how we come in and create user flows for a new project to help set up the foundation for a successful project and figure out, what are all the screens and connections and functionalities that you're going to need throughout your application. So before we do, let's make sure we cover a couple of basics. If you are new to the channel, to the challenges, don't worry, this is not a progressive challenge for the last 2 weeks. Each and every day, we're going to talk about a new feature in Adobe XD, and you can jump right in. These challenges should take you anywhere between about 30 minutes to an hour, so it should be something really easy you guys can knock out after work or on your lunch break or whatnot. So make sure you're always leveling up. That's kind of the goal here. And if you are new to the community, make sure you join the Discord group. That's where a lot of the action happens here. So if we jump on into Discord here, there's a lot of great channels you guys should check out. Make sure to check things out like pro tips. Here you can see Melody, one of the other mentors, showcasing some of her favorite XD plugins and a lot of great stuff there. And actually, real quick, I apologize. I realized I'm still in ultra wide mode. So let me switch in. Hopefully that didn't. There we go. Okay, cool. That way you guys can see my whole screen. I apologize for that. But you can jump in here and check out some great stuff from the other mentors, see when we're going live. And then one of the big ones that you guys are going to live in is the current challenge channel. And this is where you're going to submit your Adobe XD link, which you can come over here and click share to generate that link, or your Behance page and ask for feedback and critique, and check out all the other channels too. There's lots of great conversations happening, and be a part of the conversation and the community. It's really, really great. And Design Studios, you have questions, let us know if you have questions. Try to keep an eye on chat. We've got Anna, Munir, Tim Mobest, another one of our great mentors, Wakar, thanks again for tuning in, Joss, Ed, great to see everybody, Dustin, thank you all for tuning in, it means a ton. We love that you guys are as excited about learning as we are about teaching all this stuff. Can you make live icons in XD? You can definitely animate the icons in XD, and I think we touched on that a little bit in the auto animate day, but you can definitely do some really cool transitions and bring some stuff to life in Adobe XD. So really, really cool. So let's jump in here to today's challenge. So what we're going to be creating is, I used to love RSS readers a couple years back, and the technology kind of died out and it seems to be coming back a bit. But essentially, it was an app on your desktop or mobile phone where you could plug in all the content that you loved, blogs that you wanted to stay on top of every day, like inspiration and whatnot, and have it all in one central location. And so I thought it'd be really cool to incorporate something here and maybe add some new features and functionalities like adding YouTube feeds, podcasts, and things like that. So what are some cool avenues that you could incorporate different items from? And so what we're going to be talking about and focusing on today is going to be, how do we set up the flows and understand the structure of an application before we actually dive in and start designing it. So in this case here, we know that this RSS app is going to need some kind of feed or categories. I'm going to need to go into like an individual post, but there's a lot more that goes into an app, and it's really important before you start designing to stop and understand and essentially build the foundation before you try putting up the walls to the house and painting it and putting in furniture essentially. So it's really, really important to do that. And let's go down, let's take a look at a little bit of inspiration here. And so we can see some stuff here, how it's gathering the feeds, and there seems to be the congregation of the different feeds that I follow here on the left-hand side. I get to see an image preview, a title, and some text. Over here, I can subscribe to different feeds and channels, and we're kind of getting to see the same thing throughout. Feedly was one of the big RSS readers back in the day. And so just, again, a really fun way to absorb this content. And one thing that I'm seeing here that I didn't see in a ton of shots, but was a dark mode. I definitely absorb as a parent a lot of my content now in the evenings as I put my kids down for bed, and I sit there in the dark and I wait for them to fall asleep. So having dark mode in apps is like really vital to me. I can browse Reddit for hours because it doesn't light up the room too much. And so, keep that in mind. Maybe we'll do something today where we have a shift to have a light mode and a dark mode included in the app as well. Hey, and my buddy Dave Coe, good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. So let's jump in. And so I've already got some stuff here built out, but I want to show you how to do this. And guys, there's not a right or a wrong answer to this. It's really about finding the process that works for you. I tend to like to work on paper, like pen and paper, or whiteboard is probably my favorite thing. I can quickly erase and move on and come back to ideas. But this doesn't need to be formal. It doesn't need to be really detailed. You just, again, as detailed or as simplified as what works for you. Find that. You don't have to just follow a system blindly, but find what works really well. So what I want to start off by doing is I'm going to create a component here that's essentially going to be a card for me. And so I might do, let's do like the size of an app. We'll do 375, and we'll make these perfect squares for now. Let's give it a color. I want to go with something maybe in like the purpley range today. Just feeling that. Let's go a little bit brighter. Okay, cool. So we've got something there. That looks good. I want to feel a little relaxed as I work on these. So I'm going to give these a little border radius so it feels lighthearted. And then I'm going to come in and start plugging in some titles. And so I know at the start of my application that I need a splash screen. And so I will grab that. I'll leave that as a title. I might make this, say, bold so it stands out a little bit. I'm going to bring this text down so it's quite a bit smaller. So I've got my 16. And here I'm just going to give an explanation of what these different screens are going to be and what the functionalities of them are. So splash screen, I'll say animated logo interaction while the user waits for the app to load. Simple and easy. Okay, so I've got this. I'm just going to make this a little bit wider so we don't break anything. I'll bring this down. And again, I'm not worried about my spacings and stuff, even though I'm generally very OCD about that. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to call this, let's just say, our flow template. So from here, I can zoom out, and I'm just going to copy this element over now, and I can start creating multiple screens. And again, if I go and change any of these styles, or excuse me, in the master component, that will update everywhere. And so it's just nice to have that functionality to quickly edit through stuff. And then I'm going to start breaking down what are the different elements of this application that I know I need. So yes, I'm going to start off with a splash screen, but then I'm going to come in and I'm going to have login. I'm going to have sign up. And these will start to break down. And for the sake of time, I've built out a lot of this already. So I'm going to come back over here so you guys can see what this looks like as a whole. And I'll zoom in so that this is a little bit clearer. But we start with that splash screen. And so I mentioned load the animation as the application boots up. Now the user has to come to a path. Do they log in? Do they sign up? If they sign up, they can create an account via email, password, or connect via the API of like Facebook or Twitter or something like that. For the user to log in, they can log in with the same credentials. Or what if they forget their password? After they forget the password, we need to verify. So is there a forgot password code that gets emailed to them? And by stopping and taking the moment to think through all these different interactions, I now know what screens that I need to design for. And so this also will help a developer be able to look at a product or an application and know features and whatnot. So immediately here they know I need to build a database that's going to house login, username, and password. I know that I need to connect via social logins. And so they can actually start architecting a lot of this application before you've even finished the design of things. So it's really, really helpful. And again, I get to come through and understand what this app looks like. Once I do sign in, I come in, I get greeted perhaps by like a welcome or a recommendation screen where it's going to give me feeds or ask me questions about my interests and recommend things for me to check out. I know then it's going to take me to a home screen, and I'm going to get to see all the feeds that I follow. In which case, I need the ability to go through to my different categories. So if I want to organize things by, video content like YouTube or Twitch or whatnot, podcasts, readings, favorites, I need to categorize those. I need the ability to add a feed and be able to copy paste a link in there or search for something. Account settings. We talked about a day and night mode. I need to change and update my user account, links to terms and service and privacy policy, support links that maybe take me to application support. And I need the ability to then, from the home screen or a category screen, click into a post and absorb that content. So there's a lot more that we could build out on this, but you guys are seeing how when we take a look back and we step away from this, we see all of the interactions and whatnot that are a part of this. And another thing that you can do to take this a little bit further is we want to start creating these, oops, I think I'm in a group somewhere. We want to start creating these lines. And with this real quickly, I'll go to like another similar blue. I'm going to beef these up. And I might just come in and really quickly go, okay, so these interactions are going to be doing these different things. So I'll just duplicate this. I'll modify the start points. And again, this is as pretty or as ugly as you guys want it to be. This isn't usually stuff that goes out more, at least for me, internally. It might be a quick review with the client, but I want to focus and spend more time on a lot of the visual stuff. And so I want to focus more on the content of this. But I'm going to quickly come in and see what this looks like. And then things that you might notice is that, after the user gets their forgot password code, I'm actually going to bring them back over to here. And we're going to take them back into the login flow. So again, we're getting a sense and we're trying to think through what are the different paths and interactions. What's the user's journey going to be like along the way to actually walk through this application. And so what we want you guys to do in this challenge is, yes, we're going to build out a couple of screens, but really think through, whether it be this app or something else that you want to pursue today, what the process and flows would be and what additional features and functionalities could you add and highlight, and how do you build all of this together to where it's very easy to understand that the user knows, okay, after I've either logged in or I've signed up, this is where I go. And this process is going to be really, really helpful, and it's going to help eliminate a lot of times where if you've ever jumped into a project and as you were designing something, you went, oh shoot, I never realized or thought that I needed this screen. And it's because you probably didn't stop and take the time early on, again, to set the foundation that home's going to be built on and make sure that it's rock solid and you've got everything accounted for. You want to be prepared for everything. So going through a flow like this, again, simplified like this case, or really detailed, we've done ones that almost feel like black and white designs in a sense. It's up to you and what's right for your project and your client. But this is really, really a great way to do that. And Cheryl, you're totally right. You can set this up with prototype mode as well, and you can link the cards as well if you kind of get into probably as you flesh out a little bit more details and visuals on the screens, but you can walk through this process as well and make sure that all of the steps are complete. And that's why prototyping your designs in XD is so beneficial, because when we just look at the flat designs on a screen, we don't necessarily get to everything, and we don't get the whole sense of stuff. So let's build a little bit of this application out. So I'm just going to pull this over here, and we're not going to do a splash screen. We're going to let's do a home feed screen, and let's pull a couple of things together here. So I think I want to do a right sidebar over here that we put all of our application stuff on. Probably have that go up to the top, and I'll cut off here. But let's have this be a little bit darker. I know that's subtle. I'm actually going to lighten this background so that way we can see it a little bit better. There we go. just so it comes back a little bit cleaner on the feed. Okay, and then over here, I want to create some more elements. And again, forgive me on my spacings and sizings. I'm usually really precise, but we've got a lot of ground to cover in a short amount of time. So we're going to move pretty quickly on all this. But I've got these items. I know that I need something for like my account settings. And then I'm going to bring this down a little bit more so there's a little separation. And I'm going to add these other elements. And I could use repeat grid for this as well. But just I'm moving really, really quick on these. Okay, so I've got my sections. I'm going to pull this down a little bit more. And let's separate out this so that this feels like its own category. Drop that opacity down. Okay, cool. And now let's add a couple of things. So we talked about I need settings. And I think it'd be cool to do like a light and dark mode there. So ideally what I want to have is a moon and a sun. But I want to tap into settings first and then have that drop down. So I'm going to give that to you guys as an idea and maybe build on that a little bit. But for now, we are just going to throw like a cogwheel in there and that'll be fine for the moment. So we'll do something like this. And then let's see, I want to do something with podcasts. So let's do headphones. Perfect. Let's also do, we said YouTube, so let's do video. And we can do something like, again, this will work for now. We can always go in and massage this stuff later. Let's do a blog. Do something like this. And let's do, I know I need ad. I think I'm forgetting favorites. We might skip that due to time, but let's do a heart. Okay, great. So I'm going to come in. I'm just going to quickly align all these items. We said podcast. We said video. We said blogs. And ad. Okay, boom. And then we can add another one later for favorites. You guys just, we know it's coming. And then I want to have something here that just says all. That way we know. My color picker back here. All right, and let's make that bold. We'll drop that down to 14. Okay, cool. And then let's make the backgrounds here a little bit more exciting. So we might come in, we'll make this like in that blue range again, maybe something there, go white. And then all of these, let's go with kind of like a light gray, but I want it to have that blue tone. So I'm actually going to come in here and maybe do something a little bit along these lines, actually maybe a little bit darker. Something like that. That kind of works. Okay, cool. So we've got that. Now I know I'm on my home screen. I'm at my all. Let's make this really quickly. Just something interesting. Blue and orange go really well together. So I'm going to do something along those lines. Maybe a little bit more yellow to it. Cool. I dig how that looks. And now I'm going to start setting up the feeds that I want. So I'm going to come in, I'll add this again, we'll round this off a little bit just to soften that. I'm going to add a little bit of text here, and this will be post title goes here. And we could have maybe description of the item goes here and takes up 2 lines of text. All right, great. Cool, and we'll drop that down. Let's make that regular. Let's make that a little bit bigger. All right, cool, that all works. So really quickly here, I'm gonna grab these items and I am going to just quickly generate a couple of sections. I wanna have them breathe out a little bit more. And we're set. And actually I want to add something to this, which, let's see if I add that here. Yeah, great. So it's going to add all of these, and I just want to add a tag. And so that way I can clearly identify what each of these items are. You know, we might want to showcase this. Maybe it's like down here. And maybe we do like a little text or something where we could just simply say, you know, this is video or something like that. We do it with an icon. I'm going to leave it out for the moment, but again, I'm going to give that to you guys as an idea for something to play with. And now what I want to do is I can come in here. I'm going to ungroup this just for sake of ease at the moment. And I'm going to come and grab some cool things that I like to check out. So I know I always love following along with our team and seeing like some cool stuff that we do. So maybe I'll add this in and go iPad drawing time lapse and check out Eddie's recent video showing the illustration process of this art work, and then we'll truncate that. So cool, we've got one in there. I've also really loved lately following along with Chris in the future, and they're building a brand series. It's been super fun. So I'm going to bring that over here, and that's going to be part of my YouTube content. And so we might come in here and say, building a brand, episode 1, join Chris Do and the team as they build a brand from start to finish. Now ... Okay, cool. So we've truncated that. And let's do one final one. I also love keeping up with the Behance blog, and that's a great way to stay up to date with some of the new features. And I think they updated something to showcase user stats. Cool. So really quickly, I've now got all of these items, and I can browse through and see my feed of things here. And what we can quickly do is by adding in just different content, dropping in new images, changing out some text, we can easily create our prototype to showcase the different categories here and make sure that everything has been conveyed. And we can also get into, you know, what does this look like if we, I'm going to use the Behance one because I've got the copy for it. And if this is a blog, I can come over here and I've got it right here. I'm going to grab, you know, some of this text, and I can just copy this over, bring that over, and let's grab one more section just to make this feel a little bit more robust. And boom, and now I can start linking up and, you know, thinking through what does this interaction look like when I click on this article. Do these things maybe go away, and am I maybe left with like a back button up here? And so, you know, again, think through these different interactions and the things that you guys have to do and build that out. But you guys are seeing the fundamentals here to get this going and determine all the different things that you need in your application. So I think we've got another minute or so here. I wanted to highlight a couple of community members and showcase some of the work that we did. So this one yesterday, the calendar app, I love this. Again, I love how you guys think outside the box. And really cool job here in showcasing the calendar this way, where I get to see the whole week at a glance, and I can click in and see, or tap in and see the different areas that I can interact with. I've got a light and dark mode here, and I'm able to see the information about these projects. One more before we wrap up. I loved this project here. This was really cool. The transitions and animations here showcasing available time and whatnot. Just really great job, and we can, you know, quickly run through this. I get to see a little bit of your personality. I'm assuming Cyberpunk 2077. You like Coldplay. You know, there's all kinds of things here that is really neat, and I love the animation capabilities of XD to help bring these apps to life. So I think that's going to wrap us up for today. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We've got 2 more lessons before the end of the week, and really appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, and stay tuned for Raji and Chris Cannon, two good friends of mine, going to be doing a lot of cool stuff on the stream today. Take care.